Sup shitters, my name is Logan aka Spiderhands and welcome to SP Reviews, where today I'm going to be reviewing a track from an act named Gravis Terrae. And this is a video from a Mormo Zine, hypnotizing horror fans on Twitter music video. And if we switch over to here, I can tell immediately that this is potentially going to be one of the more unique experiences I have as a music reviewer. We've got it's hypnosis. It's just a bit of fun as you explore a bit of hypnosis and figure your name for a while. This should be good. I'm looking forward to checking this out. We're going to listen through this track from start till finish, and we're going to hear what we think. Let's go.
Yep, just had Taco Bell for dinner. I got a Mexican pizza. Mexican pizza's back and it's better than ever. And it's here to stay this time. I'm gonna go on Twitter and use my hypnotic language cards. I'm gonna open up my hypnotic language cards and see what I can do on Twitter.
It's extremely unnerving having the vocals, this voice talking about, the Taco Bell. I'm not being facetious, by the way. The Taco Bell and like the hypnosis and like these kind of whirly, kind of oscillating synths.
And, I use hypnotic language cards on horror fans on Twitter.
These kind of dull, kind of blunt, sort of those little hammer hits, the boom, those little bits of melodic percussion there.
Delta 8 federally legal joint. It's federally legal. I call it Trump weed because Trump's the one who legalized it. I'm gonna open up these hypnotic language cards on screen. It was so funny, and then I'm trying to get these cards out of the package so that I can use them on Twitter.
I think this is some of the most unique content I have ever been a part of on YouTube. It's genuinely fascinating.
Wow, I'm so excited. This is going to be so much fun. I'm going to use hypnotic suggestions on Twitter.
There's an incredible mid-range resonance to those hits there.
Hypnotic language cards.
Nice fluctuation of the volume there with those synth parts on the sides.
Share. And we want to go to communities. And we'll go to horror. Okay, here we go. So this guy says, my man should be listened to. It's Crazy Ralph. And it says, Crystal Lake has a death curse. Change my mind.
What is Crystal Lake? What is that? I live in New Zealand. I'm not sure what Crystal Lake is. I'm curious about it.
So I'm gonna heart that. And
sounds pretty horrific.
I'm gonna comment, and I'm gonna cut the cards, and I got the King of Hearts, and it says, what happens when? This is a nice phrase that actively involves the subject in her own trance work. Note that you are not telling her to do anything at all, you're just asking. And you might consider what happens when you imagine yourself already transformed. What happens when, so I'm going to say on Twitter, what happens?
Like, I'm genuinely fascinated, but I just don't know what's going to happen next.
When, I'll capitalize crazy. Crazy Ralph meets Jason, and I'll click reply. It's that easy, folks. I never go on Twitter. I just stay on YouTube. Oh, I'm all over the place, dude.
I never go on Twitter, I stay on YouTube. So this is basically, the music behind it is sort of more as an atmospheric thing to kind of go along with the hypnotizing of horror fans on Twitter.
Everything. I do TikTok.
It does kind of
Twitter,
make it seem like it's an alternative universe, you know what I mean? Especially how it surrounds you.
I'm on
Very atmospheric.
So
variable phrasing rhythm-wise.
I forgot that he was in Idiocracy. I think he played the lawyer in Idiocracy. So let's make sure this isn't the same person. It's not. So Justin Long will pull a card. We got the 5 of Hearts. How would it feel?
I mean, like, I've heard spoken word songs before when you have the music be a background for someone telling a tale or telling a story or something like that. So I don't necessarily mind it, even if it's a long form.
This is a hypothetical question. You aren't saying anything has to happen. It's a question that allows the client to consider a change without actually doing anything yet.
I didn't realize there were hypnosis cards.
Possible. How would you feel if you let go of that addictive behavior? How would you feel if you discovered new ways of thinking about the problem? So
These are kind of things that you talk about, like therapists and stuff like that. These are sort of open questions which therapists ask to sort of encourage people to open their minds a little bit and sort of like look at different ways of solving problems.
Tweet. How would it feel if you saw Justin Long as Norman Bates?
That's a good question. How would you feel if you saw Justin Long as Norman Bates?
Using hypnotic language on Twitter, folks.
I legitimately don't know how I would feel about that. He seems like a little sort of like thin dude. Norman Bates.
Very exciting stuff.
He doesn't seem too intimidating. That'd be kind of a bit of a trip, wouldn't it?
I should add you to my LinkedIn. Yeah, go ahead. I think I have over 500 connections on LinkedIn.
That's a decent effort.
Sure, add me on LinkedIn. I mostly just post all of my YouTube videos on LinkedIn. And sometimes if I make a sales meme, I'll post it on LinkedIn. But I get like next to no interaction on LinkedIn. But that's probably because I don't interact with anyone else on LinkedIn. But I've made LinkedIn movies before. So I'm
kind of like reviewing a live stream of someone playing music whilst they hypnotize horror fans on Twitter.
The hypnotic cards might actually work better on LinkedIn.
How do you...
What are you teaching us advertising?
This is really cool, like, because I do live streams as well, right? This is really cool how he's getting the actual comment down the bottom to sort of flick up all this. I've got to figure out how he does it.
Yeah, I have a whole shop about, like, educational videos. I have an online store that sells nothing but educated videos, and it's all, like, about internet marketing and make money online. And yeah, I'm teaching people how to advertise and everything. And tonight I'm doing hypnotic language cards on Twitter. I don't know how many I'm gonna do, but I meant about the hypnotic cards. Can you elaborate on these?
It kind of seems like we're going in sort of some fever dream where like we're watching someone hypnotize people on Twitter and then sort of talk to other people about their experience hypnotizing people on Twitter with these cards. And I know I'm potentially stating the obvious. It's just that the music behind it suits it so well. It suits it so incredibly well.
It's a deck of playing cards, and each card has like a hypnotic phrase on it. I ordered them. They were like $9 on the internet, and you know,
That seems quite
like
cheap, to be honest.
4 cards, and each card has like a hypnotic phrase on it. So basically, I'm just going on Twitter and using hypnotic phrases on horror fans, trying to sell my movies and stuff. How does it work? You seem to be just asking questions. Yeah, and asking questions is an important sales technique. You ask questions to people to like get them to trust you and stuff.
That's true, yeah. You need to ask questions because you need to show an active interest in the person that you're talking to. If you don't ask questions, you're just going to act like you either know everything, which is unattractive, or you're going to seem like you don't care about them.
But like salespeople will ask you a bunch of questions so that they know your wants and needs and stuff. So what I'm hoping to do is like ask questions, and then people go, who is this guy? And then they go back to my profile page, and then they see my pinned tweet, and they see the link in my bio, and they see my little short bio. But asking people questions is like a good sales technique.
Well, it's also part of hypnosis, I suppose. Oh no, is hypnosis? Hypnosis is basically just suggestion, isn't it? And people being open to suggestion. It's kind of fascinating to be taught about this kind of stuff while this music is playing in the background. This is one of the most surreal experiences I've had as a music reviewer.
It helps.
We've had a similar sort of theme there working between some of those. We've stayed in the same key the whole time, I think.
Hypnotizing and sales go hand in hand. Yeah, they do actually. You can hypnotize people into buying from you by using hypnotic language. You can like help be suggestive and stuff. Yeah,
no, you can manipulate people when you're selling stuff. You can. Sometimes it's frowned upon, but if you're subtle enough about it, then it can work out really well. And sometimes people even go for it quite happily.
Sounds like buzzwords and cues people hear and respond to, like in politics and advertising. Yeah, let me read the back of the package. Hypnotic power in a box. Never again feel stuck for what to say during a hypnosis session. These cards will give you confidence using the verbal patterns of Milton H. Erickson. Powerful language snippets that create trance. Speak like a professional hypnotist. Unlock your hypnotic language.
What I will give Mormo Zine or Mormo Zine here, Mormo here is that his way he's talking. You are very sleepy. You are, it's got that kind of vibe to it where we're sort of in a semi-monotonous kind of phrasing there. And it is very calming and it is very soothing, actually. So I got to hand it to this guy. He's actually got a good way of approaching it.
Radiate confidence and never get stuck again. That's what it says on the package. I'm hoping Taco Bell didn't change their recipe. Because when you eat at Taco Bell, you want it to taste the same as it's always tastes.
Of course you do.
Like me, I've been eating Taco Bell my whole life, and it like really upsets me when things change at Taco Bell.
Yeah, I mean, like, if something is... See, this is the thing. I think this is one of the most sincere, genuine, authentic experiences I've had with someone in a video like this. It's just so real. It's just so real. I don't know if this was part of what we were wanting to do here, have this kind of connection, this interaction here, but this guy legitimately seems like he'd be so chill to talk to. And I understand the music from the perspective of being like a horror, kind of a creepy kind of vibe or aesthetic there. But at the same time, it's just so soothing and you kind of just want to hear more from Mormo. So kudos on that. Congratulations. You pulled me in.
Consistency from Taco Bell of like getting the same food over and over again. Like I just want consistency from Taco Bell. Let's search Twitter for hashtag horror. Okay, here we go. Charzy Lutz. She's into D&D. I'm gonna skip her.
We're not a fan of D&D. It's a shame because this would have kind of suited that vibe, you know, going to a spooky forest or a dark cave and suddenly there is a troll and he smashes your face in or something like that. What are you going to do, you know?
Whatever, lady. Here we go. We are the only ones here for our horror movie.
Oh no.
Besties.
That's kind of sad.
Such a rad movie, Barbarian. Let's go ahead and talk to this person.
Let's go. What are we gonna do?
I'm gonna cut the cards. I got the 3 of clubs. Oh, this one sucks. How? How is a process word? It keeps things moving rather than letting them get stuck. Asking why did this go wrong isn't a very good question, but how can we fix this is a great question.
It just seems like the book is it's like they repackaged a card set which was like conversation starters as hypnosis things, and they're like, this is what you should be doing. This is basically it's just as good as teaching people how to communicate. These cards are fantastic for that. That's fantastic. These are some really good ways of continuing conversations.
Use this in your hypnotic work. As you enjoy the trance, your unconscious mind can figure out exactly how it will make your life so much better. So I'm gonna say, how can they sell more horror movie tickets?
Yes. Yes.
And click reply.
And I'm being genuine here. Is this part of the hypnosis that I'm sort of like rooting for this guy to like talk to people? My goodness, this is so trippy, dude.
There we go. Old Spice. Whoa, check this out. What happens next? Wrong answers only. Horror Orman. David from The Lost Boys or Jerry from Fright Night? Which vampire is your favorite? That got a lot. Oh, here's all horror podcasts. I'm gonna retweet that.
Let's go. Let's do it.
Because that's good to know. Horror podcasts.
All right, how we're gonna hypnotize him this time?
Cut the cards, and I got the 3 of spades. I wonder when.
Let's go. Let's do it.
A different way of using the irresistible concept of wondering. Instead of wondering if something will happen, you're wondering when it will happen. This is a presupposition and is very powerful. So I wonder when you'll add this technique to your hypnosis. I wonder when.
Okay, so let's go. Let's do it.
I wonder when I will get a shout out on a horror podcast. Oops. And send.
And that's it. That is it. Because this is my conclusion of my review of this track from Gravis Terrae, Hypnotizing Horror Fans on Twitter, music video with Mormo Zine or Mormo Zine in here, or Mormo for short. What was this about? Well, I think we all know, because this is the conclusion of my review of this track. It's about hypnotizing horror fans on Twitter using the cards and the sentences or the concepts that they had in the cards. We also talked about like how hypnotizing and sales techniques went together and stuff like that, and manipulation of people's mental states. We talked about Taco Bell. We talked about being retweeted on podcasts and stuff like that. It was a hell of a ride, man. Mormo narrated it fantastically. It was so calming and chill to listen to Mormo just talk over the music in the background. He was really selling the story there. He sounded like someone who was genuinely passionate about what he was doing. He was totally in the style of like a hypnotist with the sort of monotonous kind of vibe going on there. The sameness of the volume of the voice and the way he was phrasing it and everything like that. It was very authentic, and I thought it was really dope. You know, I wasn't sure what to expect going into it, but I think that we did a great job here, and I think he ought to be proud of himself. What else? I mean, like, in addition to that, I mean, we had ourselves a background atmospheric music, which was kind of very dark and brooding and ominous with some sort of fuzzy 80s kind of synth pads going on. I'm oscillating and going between 3 or 4 different notes there. We had sort of soft kind of flattened out boom, 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 little melodic hits there occasionally that kind of thumped and thudded against your like eardrums, and I didn't necessarily mind that too much. It was unpredictable. I liked the fact that we didn't always know when they were going to come in, because it allowed us to really sort of like appreciate the space when they weren't there, but also it was almost sort of soothing to know that return. There was an almost sort of like playful part when the sort of those plucks, kind of those little taps came in. But otherwise, it was sort of like you were stuck in some sort of like end zone, kind of sort of nth dimension kind of thing, like you were under a trance or something like that. And I liked how, in terms of sound design, it sort of surrounded your headphones and made you feel really, really sort of like you're in another world. Because as I listened to more and more go through his stuff, I forgot about the background music and I was more stuck into the story that was being told. So in regards to like spoken word music, this is incredibly well done. And I mean that genuinely, like again, like I was entertained by this. I didn't know what was going to happen next. It was cool that we were looking at all these different ways of communicating with people and stuff like that. And I think there's genuinely stuff that people can learn from this in regards to how to talk to people, how to continue conversations, how to approach difficult subjects, regardless of whether or not hypnosis is involved. The structure was effectively through composed. You know, we didn't have a whole lot of... It was basically the same sort of motif repeated throughout. The production was solid, you know. I think the vocals, you know, they were recorded right. There's a bit of EQing and going on there. I don't know what kind of mic we were using there, but this came through clearly, and I could hear it. And it sounded appropriate for the type of sort of recording and production we were going for there. And it was elevated on top of the backing synths and sort of melodic sort of plucked parts, and sounded very present. I've got no real complaints about that. It was well handled, and it was nice and loud without any sort of like pumping into headphones or anything like that. And ultimately, I think it fulfilled its purpose, especially as YouTube tends to like sort of completely destroy audio quality, and I think that it still came through really clearly. Considering I've really got no complaints about this. I didn't know what I was coming into forward. I've never really heard a song or like seen a video about hypnotizing horror fans on Twitter. It's incredibly unique content. I really hope that Mormo Zine or Mormo Zine continue to do this really cool stuff with their own sort of vibe and outlet. I hope they get the attention they deserve, and I think Gravis Terrae did a great job of collaborating with Mormo on this. I think that they created music there, which was phenomenal backing music, and really had that incredible oral aesthetic there that suited the story really well. And that was effectively my review of this track Gravis Terrae made, titled from the video Hypnotizing Horror Fans on Twitter video starring Mormo. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please do check out these various musicians via their various social medias and a YouTube page, and stay cool and stay safe, and please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time as they need the help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world, and I will catch you in the next review. Spiderhands out.